So Heather Locklear, hopefully y'all can hear me out there, because I in fact yes just turned down my interface just a tweak. I like to have it loud on blast because yes there's in fact a poor trashy sound with even that, and I don't mean a stripper with some pills or high on something, right? That sort of thing. No, because when I get to screaming, I'm already yes over the threshold with that sort of thing, but I'm trying to take it down a few notches. But anyway, like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. You might in fact want to discover that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. That's a player card. Yes, it is. That's in fact the truth. That's a player card from my end to yours. You might in fact want to yes trip over that in the process, as in pick it up. Did you or did you not get that? I just messed up 3 times trying to make this video because it had multiple YouTube accounts, as to say you might not ever know. As in be a troll on my own end. Yes, with that sort of thing. Uploading videos and putting them in wrong places and all the desperation in that, honey, let me tell you. What's that? Probably a rat. Shouts out to New York City. Yes, so Heather Locklear, when it comes to suicide, drugs, and all the rest, as in the tendencies, right? How can I word this question without it sounding like a cross-examination, and yet it should, even pointing in, yes, what existence will a Heather Locklear? And why am I side-eyeing the camera, you might in fact ask? Because I like how it looks. And not only that, I'm in fact watching myself as I'm doing this. Did you, the viewer, know that sort of thing? I'm in fact watching myself to, yes, stay within the center is what I'm trying to say. And even the light is at center, as well as the mic, but not completely as offset. But yes, including my personality, yes, you didn't have to ask. Yes, that too. Thank you. But yes, Heather Locklear with all the suicidal tendencies, because once again, you got individuals. Did you notice the 2 differences, as in the appeal of how she looks one way and then she looks a whole completely opposite way right there? She looks, in that photo, she looks, yes, completely golden, right? And I don't mean Jill Scott with harmonies to back it on the backdrop, right? And then in the other photo, she looks completely weirded out, as in zoned out. To be a Hollywood reporter is to say, right? Why is she acting this way? Why is she coming across this way pertaining to the news and all the rest, as in the scandal report from my end to yours, as in where has Heather Locklear been all this time? Has she been in hiding? Has she been working in retail or something? I mean, what is going on? The woman wants to in fact kill herself, and I don't mean butcher knives and desperate housewives and all the rest. No. I mean the science, what could be up underneath that. The naked appeal, and possibly a draw set. Drawers, yes, right? Because that don't seem... I mean, we are all in fact human beings, right? But didn't I speak before in various other videos of how some people, yes, are made into fame, as in they're born into it, right? You got families like that, right? And yet you have some people that in fact that sort of thing come to later and all the rest, right? And yet not everybody knows how to live and process with even that sort of thing. With fame, could that be one of these situations, as in dealing with it? Because even self-absorption takes place with that sort of thing. A lot of people, or maybe they in fact do, right? Like viewers that watch TV screens, self-absorption plays into being a celebrity and the celebrity hood with that. Because remember, you're mass marketing yourself to mass markets of people. Yes, I'm saying the TV and all the rest, right? And so some people in fact struggle with identity issues and identity crisis and all the rest that comes with that, and sometimes later on and later in their life also what is known as a midlife crisis. So could that be one of those sort of things, pointing in the direction of a Heather Locklear? Because she constantly keeps, yes, trying to commit suicide. This is like the 3rd or 4th attempt or something like that. Attempt. This is not one of those things where Heather Locklear, where she said, okay, I just feel suicidal, let me pick up a gun and have all police and everybody else come out to my house. No, this has in fact happened on numerous occasions. So what is the issue? This is just a question video. It is. And so let me see. Locklear was hospitalized on June 17th, 2018. Hospitalized. Heather Locklear. After family of Locklear called 911 reporting concern for the TV star's well-being. See, in 2018, Heather Locklear, she would be considered somewhat of a Z-list artist. That's sad in itself how society likes to throw you away after they feel you're all washed up and all the rest, right? Society will in fact do that sort of thing, right? But back in our day and age, back on the TV screen when I used to like to watch, you had shows of all kinds, 90210 and all type of other type of stuff, right? Melrose Place. Those type of shows you in fact loved and enjoyed, right? And they were in fact A-list stars back then, and even Locklear was herself, Heather Locklear, right? But over time, people in fact throw you away as in get rid of you, right? That's why it helps to stand on your own too once it's over for you, even in the industry, right? But yes, okay, so once again, she was hospitalized on June 17, 2018 after family members of Locklear called 911 reporting concern over the TV star's well-being. Yes, the individual who made the call claimed that Locklear was erratic. Yes, while threatening, she in fact threatened and wanted to harm herself. Did you get that? That's in fact truth as in verified as in it has been from my end to the viewer. As in if you, yes, in question on, could that sort of thing have taken place? Yes, it did. It still is today with even Locklear, right? So yes, that was the reason for the 911 call. She was threatening, yes, to harm herself while she searched around for a gun within the four walls of her own establishment to shoot herself. That's what Heather Locklear had did. And some people would in fact want to say, well, she has on makeup and look very famous right there. So what in fact could be the issue? I'm saying even everyday individuals would in fact not feel sorry for her, or maybe they will. People that don't work in Hollywood and in the limelight pertaining to the public and all the rest, when scandals like this go down, you have people that in fact would not feel sympathy for her because they'll be like, well, she has everything, so what's the issue? But to have everything is to know you can't escape the issue, right? See what I'm going? But yeah, as all of this was going down pertaining to Heather Locklear wanting to have a shootout with herself, yes, right, as all of this was going down, Ventura County Fire and Sheriff's Department quickly rushed to stop her from harming herself. Yes, they did, because if they didn't arrive on the scene, God knows what could have played out in the end with that. Possibly her killing herself. I could see even that coming out into play, right? That is so sad. There's deep-rooted issues there. That's all I'm bringing to the light is, yes, that's that. Because, see, some people, in fact, focus on, well, you know, she was over there suicidal and all this, or DUI, whatever, even if they're not completely there as in registered and documented or whatever, right? Some people don't focus on the yes, up underneath, because to be that famous is to know that people oftentimes can't see the issues that's there with you, right? And yet they're, in fact, there. They're just undisclosed, right? I'm saying you should want to question why is she suicidal like that, because there's all type of people that walk amongst us in the public that are in fact suicidal. I at one time in my life in fact felt that sort of way, but I wasn't going to use guns. No, that's too, what's the word for it, wanting to blow your brains out with a gun. I would help to leave grieving family members with the distraught, and even that as in the cleaning process. That's funny, yet it's not, right? It in fact is, as it does make sense, right? That sort of thing, as in that's too why people, when they get suicidal like Heather Locklear, why people don't do that sort of thing as in commit suicide, because they don't want to leave the family with the devastation with the waste matter as in cleaning it up and all that. It's a lot that goes into that. But yes, You in fact want to, yes, as I stated before, despite it being hard to see through the smoke screen, appeal on even Locklear's and ask, what is the issues? You don't want to ever focus too much on somebody just being pretty and feeling suicidal. No. You want to, in fact, take that sort of thing apart. And strategy. Using your brain, right? This is a science lecture, ain't it? But yes. You asking, what's that? Behavior science. Where psychology, in fact, meets sociology. Because this is culture as well, Hollywood. With the mental report, too. So, yes, Locklear. Back to her. She, in fact, yes, hospital stays. She's had that, yes, because of this issue and the turmoil with that. Despite her being well established, because see, even nobody knows about the situation on her end. Because I always ask in relation to why aren't you on the TV screen? And why aren't you on the TV screen? And not only that, why aren't you on the big screen? Such as film roles, more so than TV roles. Because if you look, watch, and listen, majority of the people that was out big and all the rest back in our time and day, and I stated that before, they were doing great and fabulous back then, but over time is to know that there's a waste away process, as in the drug usage, right? As in you will start to see it. That's how it always goes in Hollywood. Pay attention to me on that. In the beginning, it all looks good, yes, with all this and that, right? And then later on, the drugs come full blown and blast in your face is what I'm trying to say. And yet it could have always been there even from the beginning. But yes, so you in fact want to focus on that. And I'm repeating that for the third time, more so than how people like to just focus on the pretty face. That sort of thing you don't want to do. You want to understand the issues and all that. Because even resolution can come in that, right? And so hospital stays. She had to go through psychiatric evaluation in relation to the incident. Wasn't a criminal one. It was in fact only a medical one, right? Because see, it be so much stuff pertaining to industry which is not shown to the public, which could be why some of these issues are in fact there to begin with. Back on February 25th, 2018, Locklear was arrested for felony domestic violence after an alleged attack on her boyfriend. And of course, Locklear's attack resulted in her receiving 3 counts of misdemeanor. Yes, batter. Not like a cooking batter, no. And not like a car battery, no, right? But that's in fact what she received. Pertaining to, yes, in relation to an officer. Heather Locklear is in fact, did she become black over time as well? What is going on? Heather Locklear is in fact, yes, getting in mistrips and fights with even detectives and police and all the rest. 3 counts of misdemeanor on an officer. And that's been added in with her already existing domestic counts. She already had, yes, various domestic counts already to begin with. I think Heather Locklear is in fact becoming, yes, a loose string. As in, yes, she might in fact want to go ahead and get with her NFL player, possibly a NBA player before it gets too late. I'm saying because she might in fact be running out of funds. I don't know. And yet even they meet head to head as in on the same level of being stars, right? And he might in fact need to be a good team player as in being black himself, because for her to be fighting and yes, and what's the term for that? The proper term in public relations would be a combative individual, such as where Locklear loves to go. The sickness and twistedness with that sort of thing. Yeah. fighting a police officer for no reason. And fighting, yes, your own man. What in the world? So was he soft or what? Her man, I'm asking. What he was the type of man that couldn't hit back or what? I'm just asking. No, you wouldn't want to place your hands on that sort of thing. You might, in fact, want to get rid of her before it goes that far. And yet, I'm just wondering what type of man even he was. With a domestic, because you want to, in fact, question that sort of thing as well. The domestic counts, hers. She has various domestic counts against her. And yet, you too want to question what type of man could she have been with for even, yes, domestic counts to be there outside of the officers, because that just makes better sense. I'm saying it shows and paints a bigger picture, and you're trying to figure out, scope some of these people out. Or even I shouldn't say as in the tell. Do tell from my end to yours. You see my eyes? Yes, love. So, threatening police. Upon arrest, Locklear stated to police that if they returned to her home, she was going to shoot them. That's what she said. Did you catch that? That's a doormat in itself, is what I'm trying to say. Because, yes, that's what she said. Upon arrest, yes, she stated to shoot the police if they return. That's a doorstep. A doormat. Or something. As in her getting rid of them in her own way and style. That's on some Bonnie, Clyde, Medea, something. Or something in between. With that sort of mess. This is... Hold on. This is almost like the Vanessa Marquez situation. And yet her life was taken because it's both Hollywood. The set two situations side by side. Vanessa Marquez, that video I made where she died by the hands of police. Them shooting her dead, right? Because she ran for the gun and acted all sporadic and crazy is the same thing that might in fact play out for even the Heather Locklear if she don't get her life in order. To say you ain't gonna be a doormat is to say, look, fuck off with even that, dear police. That's off the hook. I'm thinking what I should be questioning is, where's Heather Locklear's bodyguards? She must not be making money. Like, something is completely horribly wrong about this story, because see, even if she didn't want to be bothered and she was acting crazy, I'm thinking the situation wouldn't have gotten that far even to begin with if she had teams of people such as even a bodyguard. Majority of celebrities have them, you just don't know that they're there because they dress like everyday human beings such as you and I. As in, they don't dress to impress, and that's the point. Because to be a bodyguard and dress to impress is to know people are in fact going to want to follow you around. As in, they're either going to think you're dating that star celebrity, right? Or they're going to want a piece of you. So bodyguards, in fact, dress to blend in. They dress like how I'm dressed in all black and the rest, right? To blend in when they're protecting a celebrity, to not draw attention to them and all the rest. Sometimes they don't even dress in all black. They might, in fact, wear jeans and a t-shirt just, yes, to look like normal society in case if there's an issue publicly, they might, in fact, need to fix without there needing to be a police cruiser there. So with Heather Locklear, I'm wondering, why did it get to this far, this point with that? Yes, you do have celebrities in which situations do get this far and they do have bodyguards, and yet even the bodyguard is usually there most likely to help in these sort of situations. Where even a hospital room or stay or psychiatric evaluation and all the rest might in fact not be needed. It might not even, yes, be needed on the way, as in getting that far. So what is going on with the Heather Locklear? Because I know all about industry with all that type of thing. The bodyguards as well. There's things I don't even say and I don't even mention, as in how they dress and, yes, with that sort of thing. And even support you and stuff like that, right? That's a calling card. Shouts out to many. Right? But yeah, so where was hers and where is he in this? Some celebrities, in fact, have more than one bodyguard. The bigger the celebrity, they usually have like 2 or 3. No, not bouncers. Bodyguards. Big body at that, as in muscular and not fat. Once again, you don't know that they're there, and yet they in fact are, right? let me not say that part because I don't want that. I don't want people to be looking for that. I was going to say, well, pertaining to photos, I could do an examination as in draw that out. I'm getting off a topic, yes, and yet relation to bodyguards, as in I know which one is which when it comes to even photographs and all that. I can look at a photo and note which one is the bodyguard, Hollywood bodyguard of a celebrity is all I'm trying to say, yes. But yeah, with hers, I'm wondering, shouts out to paparazzi, yes, them too. But yeah, where could the bodyguard have been? Or is there one, or is there not one? Somebody leave a comment on even that. Oh, something is off or something. So yes, multiple units during this incident of where she threatened the police to stay away from her home before she shoot them on some Osama bin Laden style or whatever the issue was at play with that sort of thing. Multiple units were sent to her home and not just one. Police and all that, they wasn't playing. That's almost like a raid. Heather Locklear and her black, yes, mental victim mindset with even that sort of thing. Yes, that sort of thing you would in fact want to call out time and time again. She's becoming more black as we're going. That is off the hook. Somebody should, somebody should in fact, this story better in fact make sense. Truth, I'm saying it is true, and yet on her end I'm saying, because with scandal I can't even speak on that, but I might need to tell somebody. They might in fact need to call even her team, PR team over there pertaining to a black male fitting in with this situation, because, or maybe not, because if you put a black male there, I would even know how to, but she need to get off of drugs. I'm saying the rebranding of a Heather Locklear. With that's the gangster approach. Let me leave that alone. That's funny though. I was about to say she could be in some movie roles after all this. I'm saying she could in fact branding. I know Hollywood, all of Hollywood branding pertaining to this illegal behavior and all this other stuff, and where you would in fact say use that. Her suicide after she get herself together, she could in fact use that as in incorporated with the DUIs and all the rest, as in her reselling herself in the branding process of, yes, rebranding with that, and possibly a male figure, placing him there, and then her doing movie roles where they're in fact dangerous and all the rest to even set it off on top. Her end. But because she's white and she possibly have the majority of her following is white, that more than likely would not be a good look, as in a no-go. But who never knows? It might in fact boost her career up a little bit more. She might in fact need a black male figure there and start playing in TV show roles where they're a little bit more dangerous, because seeming her career, because see, this is damage control of what I'm speaking on pertaining to PR and cleaning up mess behind you. All this, once it's done and say she get off of drugs, all this damage that is taking place right now is still going to lay in ruin, as in somebody's going to have to clean it up. Damage control, public relations skills on my end, the tactic, as in where you want to build a celebrity back up from the bottom to the top. Where they're down in the pit and bring them back up is to say she's going to have to be rebranded in that. And the best way to do it, now that even white people are looking down on her own kind are in fact looking down on her, and many are not feeling sympathy, because remember, many of them are in fact not on her level. And not many white people, not all, but many of them in fact don't have sympathy, and I said that in the opening. And yet to even rebrand herself is to leave the crime there, as in leave it there, as in leave it alone, and get away from the drugs and the suicidal tendencies and the feelings, right? And put a black male on your arm, whether you and him are together or not. It sounds shady, I know. Heather Locklear stepping up in the limelight with a black male figure, NFL, a rapper, anything, and putting him on her arm and letting him be seen with her, and using her crime material in relation to her branding, as in tying those two things together to sell her even more, to broaden even her fan base away from just having white fans. You might in fact want to have more color people support you, because to have just one type of race of people supporting you is to say, when these sort of things take place, is to say they might in fact walk away from you, as in drop you. So to put somebody there of color is to brighten up the field just enough to make it more diversified in the filling. A black male. That's Brandy. Who didn't know that sort of thing? Somebody call Heather Locklear, send her a shout out as in what I just said and what she need to do is to get a black male and put him there and put the crime and everything else with it. And yes, and play some movie roles where even that could be fit in with it and make her more dangerous. I'm saying pertaining to film and acting and TV and all that. She might in fact need to come up out of this pretty girl syndrome is what I'm trying to say. And point across a little bit more dangerous. That might in fact, yes, I said that already. I said that 2 times. That might in fact boost her career. And not only that, that might give her a more authentic edge because that's like what she like to do anyway. With all this scandal type of stuff and these drugs and feeling suicide. She likes to do that anyway. So why not just do it in reality form or not reality TV, but just rebranding it as a whole. I think that would in fact work for Heather Locklear. And yet some people, they got teams of people that can work that out for her. And yet, once again, people oftentimes, once they built and grow a fan base, they get fearful of doing that sort of thing, as in leery. Because they feel like a lot of their fans in which they built and branded themselves off of, the people that was buying even, yes, a Heather Locklear, she might in fact feel that those people might could walk away from her, right? But possibly not completely. She might in fact gain more, even in results. Heather Locklear. You don't ever want just one race of people supporting you all like that. You want to be more diversified. That way you have a backup plan in case of anything like this happened, a scandal. Because that's not saying no bad things about white people, no, but a lot of them, they trash their own kind. Hell, even black people trash their own kind. And when that sort of thing take place, it's yes. I said this for the 5th and 10th time to diversify with that sort of thing. That ain't gonna work having one lane with that type of thing. So yes, when it comes to the multiple units being sent to her home, yes, Locklear loving to threaten police. Officials raided her home on March 6, 2018. They were in fact on search for a handgun registered to Locklear since 1985, and it wasn't found. The very gun that the police, yes, raided her house back in March 2018 trying to find that gun, right? It's the same gun they couldn't find, and yet Locklear had that gun since 1985. That's off the hook. It's probably rusted on the inside. I was going to say something else, but I'll leave that alone. Which could be, yeah, I was going to say something. Black male interracial relationship. She might in fact want to set that up and yes, and make it look very, very vivacious, as in where it's probably not going to be real. And yet even for a coming back process, I can see even that. As in one of the Jews need to tell her, as in let it be seen. Hello, dear Discovery. I got love for my yes, Jewish ancestors and all the rest. What? Jews and Jewish ancestors. And when I say that, no, I'm not saying family, and yet could be, you never even know, pertaining to even Discovery and everybody else in the industry that in fact run and operate a industry, right? Those sort of people in fact help with the civil rights movement. Jews and Jewish people and all the rest in fact help with the civil rights movement. So I have to, yes, aim a shout out to even them. When you set up stuff, you do it right? That's to say. So yes, Locklear made appearances on the TV shows such as Spin City. She in fact played on Melrose Place. She played on T.J. Hooker. Anybody remember that? And she also played on Dynasty. That's way, way back. Dynasty. Ooh, that's completely way back. I get arthritis in the knees even thinking about a Dynasty, let me tell you. But yeah, so the crime history pertaining to Locklear. Locklear has a semi-steamy criminal past of DUIs, and I stated that about 15 times. She also has bouts with rehab, going back and forth. That's off the hook. And with the arrest as well, multiple arrests. That points back into the beginning of the video too. There's something going on. Okay, so back in 2008, her mental state wasn't up to par, which led to her checking herself into a medical facility for issues, yes, psychological, after feeling suicidal. I mentioned the suicide about 10 times, and yet even that needs to be, because we need to figure this sort of thing out. Because see, with Heather Locklear, once she gets herself together, she might in fact want to sell herself off too with the suicidal hotline, as in putting it there so people know that's where she came from, as in what she was into, like to get into, even feeling, not saying feeling suicidal was a liking of her, but to like to, yes, flash guns at police and threaten them is to say that sort of thing you like to do, and yet suicide goes with it, right? And so she might in fact want to do something in relation to humanitarian stuff and community service, as in showing that sort of thing off, and the aim of suicidal awareness. Dear Heather Locklear, get yourself together and do that sort of thing to help other people, because there's even teenagers out here, young girls, that possibly might look at her, not even know who she was, because they might not have even been born back in that day and age when she was out. And yet knowing the media is there to say even teen girls have access to a Heather Locklear in the news, as in they're going to see it. Notice that she's pretty despite her face not looking somewhat at times, and those same girls might in fact have suicidal issues and tendencies. So to drape the cloth is for even me to say where she needs to drape up sometimes with the suicidal awareness campaign to help those sort of people. You don't just use fame for TV and film purposes. You don't do that sort of thing. Fame is for recognition of selling yourself in the realm of yes, being famous, but not only that, being human, as in showing your flaws and your issues, as well as trying to help and support people that struggle with those same issues. And yet nowhere yet has I seen a Heather Locklear suicidal awareness campaign. Come on, that needs to be placed there. Come on, with that, because that ain't gonna, that would in fact So within the same year after the suicidal issues and her mental state in 2008, and yes, with the medical facilities, her staying there because of her mental state, right? Within the same year, 2008, she was arrested for driving while high. That was in fact after the stay at the mental facility over the suicidal issues. She was arrested again, yes, for driving while high. But I'm wondering if it was alcohol or if it was something else, because every time I look at her photographs, she looks almost like she's a meth head or something. Heather Locklear. Or maybe it just looked that way because she doesn't have on makeup. Sometimes, yes, white people when they age, black people can be that way. Yes, Mexicans and all the rest, right? You do in fact have black don't crack. My term from my end is cranky don't crack, pertaining to moods and all the rest. I just had to throw that in as in a gifted joke, right? But yes, black don't crack, or what you do in fact do have blacks that do crack, as in their own crack fully, right? On strong and strongholds with that, go to church or something, right? But with that sort of thing, with white people, they in fact, with their skin, it doesn't crack, and yet they in fact seem to age faster or something. I'm thinking it's in the genes or something. Could be because of less pigmentation on the face. Could be why they age much more quicker, and that's why Heather Locklear possibly looked like that in her photos. Either that or she's strung out on meth or something. Something with that is telling me that sort of thing. If Heather Locklear's her teeth start falling out, you would in fact know that she's a meth head or something like that. She had to throw that in there to spice that up as well. So yes, could it have been alcohol? Yes, possibly that too. Alcohol more likely was there as well in Santa Barbara, California. It's on the map. Searching on the design with that sort of thing, as in use a map. So other Locklear crime issues. 2011 was a hit and run charge. Wow. To be so obsessed and bold with crime. Dear Heather Locklear. A hit and run charge? Don't tell me Heather Locklear literally ran something over, a cat or a mouse, no, not completely, possibly a person, and just spun off. That is a no-go. That completely ruins fame. Don't do that sort of thing. Yeah, 2011, a hit and run charge, and then 2012, Locklear ingested prescription drugs with alcohol mixed together, as in they were combined, in which made her, yes, sister frantically calling 911 over the incident. Who wouldn't? Who would you have been a sister of Heather Locklear and say, watch her mix? That's toxic in itself. Which could be why she's coming across such as a very toxic individual, because to be too consumed in toxic substances is to say they're going to leak out. And yet more is up underneath that. I know I'm repeating myself, I should. Because I don't want you to ever let your eyes bypass that, as in stay wide awake when these sort of situations play out. Some people just, they focus on the fame resolution, as in that's always the focus, the fame and nothing else. That's the 10th time, possibly the 20th time I repeated that. So yeah, you the viewer, I want you to leave me a comment and let me know what you think, sense, and feel, and guess what even a Heather Locklear. I'm guessing and sensing over time when it comes to her and her age, she's almost slightly there on the way up in age. I be thinking a life is gonna be lost or taken on Heather Locklear's end by the end of her own two hands. I can see that. I'm saying I can sense that sort of thing coming or something. I don't know why that is, because to have too many suicidal attempts like that is to know you're being a flawed individual, as in you might in fact hiccup with that, as in be laid to rest with that sort of thing. Because I really deep down don't sense that even that Heather Locklear don't want to die, right? She just suffering through something on her end, right? Heather Locklear in fact don't want to die with that sort of thing, and yet you gotta figure out a way to come up out of the hole or something. Her family might in fact want to take her by the hand and take her to get some therapy. I've in fact been through therapy myself. Didn't I say that? I said that twice on 2 different videos. There's no shame in going to therapy on the retail bill with that sort of thing. Set upside your head a therapist, knocking you upside the head with some questions, and yet not physically, right? That in fact helps to improve your mind state as well as well-being at that. It helps to heal you is all I'm trying to say. And yet with Heather, it seemed like she's going back and forth with all this, going to the hospital, going to jail with the DUI, whatever, and all sporadic with that and her team of people. And yet nowhere in this is there a mention of therapy and the lessons that follow beyond that. I think that's all to be said. I do think she needs that. Because Heather Locklear is in fact a conflicted individual, and I can see it. Highly, yes, conflicted. I see that from very far, as in my eyes are washing windows with that sort of thing. I'm saying it make me teary-eyed thinking about that. That because yeah, you don't want to play around with your life with that. What when I said my eyes are washing windows, that's a punchline. If you don't know what that is, you might want to search on the Google find with that. It's not there, no. That means tears, to let tears flow out your eyes. Cause something. Look at the photo. There is something there. Something there with all of them, all of us, as in all human beings. So yes, we are in fact on ID investigation. You see the logo, it in fact lays up above as a strong right there. Hello. I was gonna say shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kendall. That's why I paused, because I'm seeing his face and yet you can't, right? But yes, shouts out to Paula. Yes, Evo lives here. To scroll over either one of these is in fact meet a description, and you can in fact add to your favorites, as in click right here, right where it says yes. So yes, Paula, Evo lives here. We got that Fatal on Fatal. That's Fatal Vows. Yes, Lieutenant Joe Kenda, Homicide Hunter. Red Rum, and I don't mean The Shining. Blood Relatives. ID Now is a new one, right? American Monster. I'm saying it's new because right there where you just saw it, or maybe you didn't, where I just fast forward past, that's the first time me showing it right here. Unlock episodes. To Catch a Killer, you can in fact add to watch later by clicking this, and if you want to preview, you can in fact click the play button and it will show you, as in it will take you there. Blood Runs Code, Season 1, Episode 1. What Lies Beneath, Season 1, Episode 1. Twisted, Season 7, Episode 3. Murder by Numbers, Season 2, Episode 3. The Last Defense, Season 1, Episode 1, expiring in 9 days. The Devil Speaks. Deadline, Crime with Tamron Hall. Yes. On Last Night, Fatal Vows. Season 6, Episode 6. In Plain Sight, Season 1, Episode 1. Deadly Women, Season 12, Episode 2. To Catch a Killer, Season 1, Episode 2. Any one of these, just scroll and there's going to in fact be a lock, yes, as well as a key. And yet the key stands on your own end. It just appears right there. In order to get in, you in fact gotta, yes, whoever your provider is, as in if you watch whatever. People watch cable, people watch all type of things, right? That doesn't really fit, and yet it works. I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example. To sign in, it's in fact, yes, use that sort of thing, as in that's how you're going to in fact get in to that. So original series, all type of shows in which they in fact glow once you zoom past, and you might want to rather quickly, as in I should, and yet I like to do it slow. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Oh my goodness, do you see that? Support the Save the Children's Hurricane Relief Effort. This is my type of thing. And it in fact has the logo. Watch this. You see that? That's the Save the Children logo as in a campaign. Oh my gosh, that's my type of thing. Oops, let me put that back. That's in fact, yes. It helps to do things right and not wrong in life, such as helping other people outside of yourself some time of the day. In relation to Hurricane Florence, you want me to read it to you, or can you see it for your own two eyes? I allow you, the viewer, to come back to that, as in, yes, with that. Crime Feed News, Nick Nolte. I'm going to have to check into that because even he's looking like a mass criminal. And he is. Nick Nolte, I'm saying. Quit acting like you don't know who he is. Look at he looking like, I was going to say Shaggy the Clown, but I meant to say something more like something that would in fact be on the TV show Scooby-Doo or something. Because I have on this shirt and to have it on that bright is to say there's in fact issues there. It's called Hollywood. And being yourself, right? And yet this photo completely looks cracked out. That's off the hook. But yes, the crime feed. To click on this is to in fact be directed on the outside to the crime feed, as in crimefeed.com. All type of full scandals, dramas, and all the rest. To sign up for the newsletter is in fact type your email in and click next. It will in fact take you there. Not there, but you in fact receive a newsletter from, yes, Investigation Discovery. So I think that's all to be said for now. Nick Nolte. Did you see that man's face? He looked like, I don't know. What's a joke for even that? Nick Nolte's face. The way he looked and the way she looked, Heather Locklear, to set them two side by side is to say they might in fact could get away with more crime. That's in fact a joke. I think that's all to be said, and I'm gone.